Hey folks, welcome back to the channel, your home for all content Lord of the Rings home. Wanted to give you a quick update on my free-to-play account. I've reached the 200k threshold on it because I got a big power boost from glyphs just like everybody else, and I just kind of want to tell you what I'm working on, what my plans are for my free-to-play account. I think these are people find them relatively useful, but basically what I'm hard node farming right now are Eladin and Arwen, trying to finish up getting them to 7 stars. I'm also farming Eowyn and Eothane. I decided to keep on farming them because I use them so often in raids. They're going to hopefully be 6 stars here soon. Eothane just hit 6 stars, I think, actually this morning. So pretty happy about that. Eowyn's going to be kind of following up right behind him. Aemer's obviously already 7 stars. And then I'm farming the goblins to prepare for Thorin. And I'm farming Keely, but not Feely, because I'll get enough shards from the, daily objectives that I'll eventually get Feely up to 7 stars. I'm not too worried about that. He's miles ahead of my other dwarves in terms of shards. And, goblins. And then I farm Balin and I farm Brute as well. And Balin, because I have Balin kind of geared already. I mean, he's level 60. And Brute, because I get, you get shards from the daily free web store and whatnot, so he's actually progressing quite fast, and I think he'll get to 7 stars sooner rather than later, and so I think that's probably just a good investment, is to, get the guy who has the most stars, put a little bit of gear on him. In terms of what I'm getting from the stores here, let's go down here. From the guild store, I actually get Biffer, because I think Biffer is just really good. I'm still sticking with Halbarad. I have no interest in the Haradrim on this account. Bolg, I can, there's no point in getting him here. So I'm just going to keep putting stuff into Halbarad until otherwise. And then Arena, I have finished Aemer, right? So now I'm working on finishing Legolas. He's almost there. When I have extra Arena currency, I will often toss some into Golbers. Again, just to sort of prepare myself for the coming back of Thorn in 4 or 5 months, whenever they decide to do that again. And then when Rumel comes out, I will definitely be adding him to the shard farm. And then probably when the Dol Guldur get added to become farmable, I will probably add them as well. Just because I decided to actually put resources into them. This was sort of to test whether they were viable at 3 stars and like relatively low gear. The answer is not really. They're okay in chapter 3 because of the bloodlust sort of cheese mechanic you can do, even at 3 stars in gear tier 5, but I don't think it's worth it. So what I am doing though is I'm also testing whether a 3-star bomber is worth it. I think I have one more skill to get. Yeah, I got a special tube, which is the 2-turn slow, so it's important. Just to see if it's worth putting resources in that. If you're a free-to-play player, even at 3 stars, he's really, really useful on my main account. I want to see if that extends to low star level. The answer, I don't have the answer for you right now. I don't think it's very clear, but basically I have 3, let me just go back, 3 characters favorited here. Elrond, I'm working on his glyphs. Bomber, I'm working on finishing up the last skill. And then Gimli, I'm working on getting levels and kind of gear on. So actually, why don't I just do this right now? And that's kind of what my method is to keep track of who I'm working on for what. I've got kind of one of each category there. Actually, let's quickly talk about, that was good. Let's talk about Arena really quick. It's basically the same as it was. I'm sitting at the top of Gold 1. I actually am better off than probably the last video. And I can push into Mithril 2 for most days. And then if I'm really deciding to go for it, I can make it into Mithril 1. I'm hoping that Bomber will actually help me with that. And I can basically swap out Bomber for Ironhide. And kind of work my way through a lot of the Elrond teams because he's got his 2-turn slow plus his disable and speed up on a special one. So that's kind of where I'm at with Arena. In terms of like what I'm doing for guild farming, after I basically get that last skill on Bomber, I'm going to start farming up Gimli to 7 stars. Eventually I need to do Naramiri, but I'm not sure when I want to do that. The reason I want to get Gimli to 7 stars now though is because I have about 81 shards left till I unlock Gandalf, and I did the little bit of math, and if I stay at like my current personal shards that I get, after I finish this raid, we're at chapter 2 right now, I have about 2.2 more raids to unlock Gandalf. And so the idea here then is that I want to get my Gimli up and have Legolas and Gimli at reasonably good levels so that they can go with Gandalf, because as you'll see when we talk about raids, some of my raid teams are not that good. And so this will basically become another sort of one of my raid teams. And I think that'll work pretty well. I think what I'm going to do, though, is basically try and get him to level 60, gear tier 8, and then basically take his skills to 4, and then I think I'm okay. I might take his special 1 up to 6, but I don't think it's like going to make or break anything at this particular level. So I might just leave things there for a while and see how things go. See if we're going to get any more Fellowship Squad when all that's coming out. Maybe pivot or adjust depending on what I need there. So even though I'm on a free-to-play account, getting your personal shards is really important. And being in a good guild is very important. So we get box 4, but we've only gotten box 4 for like 2-3 raids now. So it actually hasn't been like that many, but I now get, especially with glyphs, I now get 6 personal shards in chapter 1. I get over 3 mil. Chapter 2, I get no personal shards, and I'm sitting, I think I want to say it like 1.8-ish mil. So I'm close to getting the first one, and that's my big next goal, is to make sure I can start getting shards in chapter 2. Chapter 3, I get over 3 mil and get all 6 shards there. Chapter 4, I'm at 1.8 mil, but there's just no shot I'm going to be able to push that much further for the time being. So I'm kind of just not doing that at the moment. So I'll show you what I kind of use for my raid teams at the moment. Let's see. So I have an Isengard team. Again, they're okay in raids. They do okay in chapter 2. In chapter 1, they can get 900k because of Ironhide and Ugluk, basically. I don't want to put any more resources into this team, so it's fine for what it does. Rohan with Halbarad and Strider, these are pretty standard, right? Rivendell with Naramiri, pretty standard stuff. And then my other 2 teams are a Balin and Bifur dwarf comp. And so it's like Balin and Rumel, and then Bifur and Bomber and Gimli. And when I get Gandalf, I'll probably have to get up Feely and Keely. I think is probably going to be the next big thing. Probably Feely first, just to have that extra heal and whatnot. And then Keely will be following soon right after that. And then, yeah, this DG squad with basically the scrap heap of whatever I have left over. So my guess is that I will probably be replacing the DG squad in most chapters except chapter 3. Because they're typically my lowest scoring squad by far. I am going to farm them up, like character shard farm them when they do become farmable, like I said, but at the moment they're just not very good, I would say. And then it's basically a variation on those particular teams and characters for pretty much all of the chapters. I use Legolas lead in chapter 2 instead of Elrond lead. That tends to work better for me at this level. Not quite the case on my main account, but on this level, yes. Or on this account, it does. And, oh, I went to the wrong screen. Let me show you. Nope. I just want to show you what I do in chapter 3. Things are a little bit different. There's more a little bit, hodgepodge type situation going on there. So using you haven't watched my video about like cheesing chapter 3, I'm going to recommend you do that, because even though I have a 200k free-to-play account here, I'm able to do pretty well in chapter 3. 900k on this team. This team does okay. I think it'll do better once I get Bomber maxed out and get Gimli a little bit beefier. But this team does okay, actually. And then, yeah, even with 3-star gear tier 5 DG, if, I can get close to 600k when I put Halbarad and Ugluk. This is basically to juggle taunts, work on getting fee stacks on my Black Beast, and then hopefully he can start to hit hard enough where we can sort of trigger that Bloodlust endless cycle. Again, yeah, I made a whole video about this, both for Rohan and for doing it for the Dol Guldur as well. And then, yeah, Legolas sort of leads my hodgepodge team down here, and then hopefully this would get replaced by like a fellowship team. So that's kind of what the plans are there. Yeah, and I finally got into difficult. This is my first difficulty 4 on this account. It's chapter 3. I can't use this team in chapter 1 difficulty 4, but chapter 3 you can. And it's basically more of the same in chapter 4 as the usual stuff. That's kind of where I'm at right now. In terms of like what my plans are for farming, I would say I'm finishing on the light side of things. I'm finishing up the fellowship. I want to get Gimli to gear tier 8, Legolas to gear tier 8, and then by then I'll probably have Gandalf unlocked, so I want to get him to gear tier 8. And And then kind of down the line, I think I want to work on Balin and Rumel, because I think they're very, very good characters, especially Rumel. And then probably... Who else do I want to get up? Oh, the rest of the dwarves. So Bifur, Feely, and Keely, I think will be good options there. What are... Yeah, Feely's at 6 stars. Keely, oh, I can promote Keely. Why don't we just do that right now? So I'll probably start working on them, actually. No, I think I'll keep the order I kept them in is appropriate. So they'll come after probably I get Rumel for sure and Balin up to gear tier 8. And then I'll be doing Feely and Keely, and then they'll act as sort of flex like squad for different parts of the raid. And then on the shadow side of thing, like I mentioned earlier, I want to start working on Brute just because he just got to 5 stars. He's already halfway to 6 stars. I think he's pretty powerful, and I think the shards come pretty fast and easy there. And then once my goblins get to 5 star, I'm going to start putting resources into them. I think I don't want to go for Grimpa, and I think I just want to maybe get Ooters up a little bit and then focus on these other 4 goblins. I just don't want to have to spend another... If I got a Misty Mountain here. I don't want to spend another like good amount of chunk of time not doing chapter 5 guild farm and instead just farming like character shards from early chapters. I just don't want to do that. My Ooters is fine. I think he's 3 stars already. I'll save that. By the time I can basically work on these guys and get them up and running, I think Ooters could be farmable. I mean, I guess that's probably 2 months away from now. It'll be fine. I'll figure that out. But I do want to start working on goblins again so that, 1, I just am prepared for Thorn, but 2, I think that they are also a really great squad in chapters 1 through 3 of the raid. And then kind of to complement it and balance it out, I am working on Balin and Rumel for chapter 4 and working on some stuff there. But that's really the chapter I'm the least worried about at the moment because there just isn't a really good set of squads to kind of pay to kind of play that chapter. You have to pay to play that chapter, basically. So that's kind of it. Just a little quick summary of what I'm doing with my free-to-play account. Give you an update there. Let me know what you think. And thanks for watching, and take it easy.